Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're strapping in to explore the digital frontier, navigating cyberspace and cyber law. We're talking about what is arguably the most complex, rapidly expanding, and entirely borderless frontier in human history. Not outer space, right? Cyberspace. We're going to navigate the invisible architecture that literally runs our modern lives. And, more importantly, we're going to unpack the massive, often kind of chaotic.
Okay, let's dive right in with a scenario that, well, hits pretty close to home. If your digital identity is stolen by someone halfway across the globe, whose laws protect you? Imagine you wake up, you check your phone, and boom, you realize your digital identity has been completely hijacked. But the person who did it? They aren't in your city. They aren't even in your hemisphere. They're halfway across the globe. So who do you call? Whose laws actually protect you when the crime scene doesn't even physically exist? It's a terrifying thought, right? This whole hypothetical just highlights the immediate, super personal stakes of what we do online every single day. But to really understand how we're protected, we gotta map out the territory itself first.
Section 1. Welcome to cyberspace. So, picture the core layers of cyberspace as a massive virtual environment built from the ground up through interconnected computer networks. It's kind of like a giant digital layer cake. At the very bottom, you've got those physical and structural networks. Layered right over that is the internet itself, the roads that facilitate the flow of traffic. Above that, we've got an immense ocean of data, just constantly being transmitted back and forth. And finally, sitting right on top, on the outer layer, are the digital platforms. These are the cloud systems, the online databases, social media like Facebook, your email, your banking systems, the stuff you and I interact with every single day.
Now, let's compare our realities, physical versus digital. In our physical world, you know the drill. We have defined borders, local police, clear geographical jurisdictions. But cyberspace? It's a whole different ballgame. It operates on global, borderless connectivity. Communication is incredibly fast, like practically instantaneous. It offers this veil of total anonymity, and most crucially, it's entirely borderless. Because it doesn't have those borders, figuring out legal jurisdiction becomes an absolute nightmare. I mean, think about it. A hacker sitting in a coffee shop in one country can effortlessly launch an attack on a server sitting on a completely different continent.
Section 2. The dark side. Cybercrimes. Because here's the harsh reality. The sheer speed and anonymity of cyberspace, they get weaponized. They're used to facilitate a massive variety of direct threats against individuals. We're talking about severe, real-world impacts here. Things like identity theft, cyberstalking, online fraud, and digital defamation. Just as an example, someone could easily create a completely fake social media profile specifically designed to ruin someone else's reputation. It's direct, it's incredibly personal, and honestly, without the right laws in place, it's way too easy to get away with.
And it doesn't stop there. The escalating targets of cybercrime scale up dramatically. They move from personal attacks right up to property and massive corporate assets. Imagine corporate espionage, where a hacker quietly infiltrates a network just to steal a company's highly sensitive research data. And then, it scales up even further, threatening entire societies. We're seeing cyber espionage attacks targeting critical national infrastructure. We're talking about national power grids, defense systems. The potential damage is absolutely staggering. It's not just a nuisance, it's a real threat.
Section 3. The Cyber Law Shield.
So what's our defense? Well, cyber law aims to be your digital shield, and it stands on 5 pillars of cyber protection. Number 1, protection of personal data, basically ensuring your private info actually stays private. Number 2, combating cybercrime directly. Number 3, ensuring safe online transactions, so you can buy your groceries or gear securely. Number 4 is protecting intellectual property, which is absolutely crucial in a space where copying something is literally as easy as clicking a button. And number 5, promoting national security. Going back to our earlier examples, if someone steals your credit card info online, it's these exact legal regulations that allow authorities to step in, track down, and actually prosecute the offender.
Section 4. Policing a borderless world.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. How do you catch a criminal when the crime scene has no physical borders? Seriously, how do authorities actually enforce the law when the scene of the crime is everywhere and nowhere all at once?
Well, the reality is that law enforcement is facing a literal jurisdictional nightmare. First off, you've got the massive problem of anonymity. Attackers are experts at masking their digital footprints, which makes it incredibly, agonizingly difficult for authorities to trace their actual physical location. Then, throw in rapidly evolving tech like cryptocurrency. Criminals use it to demand ransom payments that are so hard to track it's mind-boggling. But honestly, perhaps the biggest hurdle of all, conflicting international legal systems. Every single country has its own unique definitions of cybercrime, its own procedures. So an act that'll land you in prison in one country might not even be a blip on the radar in the country where the hacker is actually sitting. It's a massive, tangled web, and untangling it is no small feat.
Section 5. The Architect's Duty.
Now, because the law is almost always a step behind the tech, regulations are in a constant race to keep up. Let's look at the race to regulate through a case study. Take Bangladesh, for example. It's a fascinating look at the rapid evolution of cyber regulations. Just look at this progression. They started with the Information and Communication Technology Act way back in 2006. Then, as the digital landscape completely exploded, they had to implement the Digital Security Act in 2018. Just 5 years later, boom, the Cybersecurity Act of 2023. And looking ahead, they're already prepping the Cyber Protection Ordinance of 2025. It is literally a race. The rulebook is constantly having to be rewritten simply because the technology moves so insanely fast.
And this brings us to the engineering mandate. Because the law is always playing catch-up, the people actually building this digital frontier, the engineers and developers, they carry an absolute ethical mandate. It's not just about, writing code that technically works. It's about addressing severe, real-world issues like unauthorized access and data manipulation. Engineers are tasked with designing inherently secure systems right from day one. They literally have to prioritize protecting user privacy. They are our first line of defense in preventing the misuse of technology and stopping violations of cyber law before they even have a chance to happen.
To put it bluntly, technical skill in building cyberspace means absolutely nothing and is frankly kind of dangerous if it isn't paired with strict ethical responsibility. As the quote outlines, engineers must design secure systems, protect user privacy, and follow ethical practices to prevent misuse. The architects of our digital world have a fundamental duty to build a safer cyberspace for all of us.
So, as digital borders continue to blur, are the systems you rely on and the ones you build truly secure? We've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, from the very layers of the internet to the truly terrifying scale of cybercrime and the massive legal and ethical hurdles we face in stopping it. But I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. As our physical and digital lives continue to merge and those invisible borders blur even further, think about your own digital footprint. Are the systems you interact with every single day, or perhaps the ones you're actually out there helping to build, are they truly secure? It's a question we absolutely all need to be asking ourselves right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.